Hello, everyone. Welcome to Sharing Stories Presents Book Summaries. Today we have Discipline is Destiny by Ryan Holiday. Let's dive right into it. What does this book have to offer? I mean, think about it. What if the absolute most disciplined thing you could do today was literally nothing?
Right, which sounds completely backward to how we normally think.
Totally backward because, we live in this world where we just constantly mistake exhaustion for dedication.
Absolutely. We wear burnout like a badge of honor.
Yeah, and we assume that the people who achieve these, monumental successes are just these wild, untamed stallions of raw talent galloping way ahead of the rest of us.
It's a very seductive image, that myth of the effortless prodigy or the overnight success.
It really is.
But it completely ignores the hidden architecture behind literally any great achievement.
And that hidden architecture is exactly what we are exploring today in this deep dive. We're looking at Ryan Holiday's work on this exact subject.
Yeah, he is fantastic on this.
He really is. But before we get into the weeds of the actual philosophy, for those listening who might not be super familiar with him, who is the architect of these ideas?
Well, Ryan Holiday is, arguably one of the most influential living philosophers today.
Right.
And that's specifically because he takes ancient Stoicism and makes it highly practical for, modern life.
Very accessible.
Bring your book to life with AI. Plotsformovies.com helps you create movie-like trailers for your book, allowing filmmakers to visualize your story, just the way you imagined it while writing. Enhance the storytelling experience to a whole new level with realistic characters, immersive voiceovers, and cinematic sound effects. No more boring stock images or generic clips. Captivate your audience, spark curiosity, make readers and filmmakers eager to explore more. Plotsformovies.com, where your story becomes cinema.
Exactly. His books, which include titles like The Obstacle is the Way and The Daily Stoic, have sold over 10 million copies worldwide.
Which is just wild for philosophy books.
Seriously. And they've spent over 300 weeks on the bestseller lists. He is read by everyone from Super Bowl winning coaches to sitting politicians and corporate executives.
And the detail that always stands out to me about him is how he actually lives his day-to-day life.
Oh, the farm.
Yes. Despite being this globally recognized thinker, he lives on a farm outside of Austin, Texas, with this small herd of cows, donkeys, and goats.
And the bookstore, right?
Yeah, he runs an independent bookstore called The Painted Porch. It is just a very deliberate, grounded environment.
Which perfectly reflects the core mission of today's deep dive, really. This book is the second in Holiday's Stoic Virtues series.
Okay.
And it focuses squarely on the ancient virtue of temperance.
Which means what, exactly, for the modern reader?
Well, in modern language, we're talking about self-control, moderation, and discipline. The central premise here is that true freedom and lasting success, they don't come from a lucky break.
Right.
And they certainly don't come from sheer unbridled talent. They are the direct result of the ability to consistently master oneself.
Okay, let's unpack this because to really understand the value of this book, we have to clear up a massive modern misconception about what the word discipline actually means.
Yeah, people have a very specific image in mind.
Right. When you hear discipline, the immediate picture in your head is usually, I don't know, a punishing military boot camp.
Oh, for sure. Drill sergeants yelling.
Exactly. You imagine waking up at 4 in the morning in the pouring rain, following rigid rules, and just living this completely joyless life of self-denial where you just aren't allowed to have any fun.
What's fascinating here is how Holiday completely dismantles that grim definition. He argues that discipline isn't a performance of suffering.
It's not about just being miserable.
No, not at all. It's not about self-denial just for the sake of making yourself miserable.
Yeah.
True discipline is, it's simply the ability to consistently choose your long-term values over your short-term impulses.
Ah, that makes so much sense.
Right. It is the shift from impulsiveness to intentionality.
So it's about recognizing that giving in to every single impulse is actually a trap.
Precisely. Just think about the mechanics of impulsivity for a second.
Okay.
If you act on every biological or emotional urge you have, like eating whatever sugary thing is in front of you or firing off an angry response the second you feel slighted.
Which we all do sometimes, let's be honest.
Oh, completely. Or even just skipping your obligations because you feel a little tired.
Yeah.
You might feel like you are exercising free will in that split second.
Because you're doing what you want in the moment.
Exactly. But biologically and psychologically, you aren't free at all. You are basically a slave to your immediate dopamine loops and your emotional reactions.
You are just a passenger in a vehicle being driven by your amygdala.
That is a perfect way to put it. Discipline is the mechanism that allows you to hit the brakes.
To take the wheel back.
Yes. It creates a space between the stimulus, the thing that happens to you or the urge you feel, and your actual response.
Right.
In that space, your rational brain catches up, allowing you to evaluate the situation and act in accordance with the person you actually want to be.
I want to look at the historical stakes of this, actually, because the book is just filled with these intense cautionary tales.
The history really grounds it.
It does. You read about these brilliant leaders, generals, and monarchs throughout history who had, unparalleled strategic minds.
True geniuses of their time.
Right. And they conquered entire nations. But they completely failed and often lost absolutely everything because they couldn't conquer their own tempers or their own appetites.
Alexander the Great is a classic example that's often cited in Stoic literature.
Right. The guy conquered basically everything.
He conquered the known world, yeah. But he could not conquer his own rage or his immense thirst for alcohol.
Which is such a crazy contrast.
It really is. And that ultimately contributed to his early demise and the complete fracturing of his empire.
Wow.
The book points out that you can have all the tactical brilliance, all the raw talent in the world, but without self-discipline acting as a governor on that powerful engine.
The engine just overheats.
Exactly. The engine overheats and destroys itself. Without discipline, we are lost before we even begin.
So if a lack of discipline can literally destroy an empire, why is our default setting so impulsive? If the stakes are that high, where do we even begin to train ourselves to resist?
It's daunting, right?
It really is, because moving from a state of constant distraction to complete self-mastery feels overwhelmingly difficult for the average person.
Well, Holiday breaks this monumental task down into a very elegant, manageable structure.
Oh, good. We need a structure.
Yeah, he divides the journey of mastery into 3 distinct realms. There's the exterior, which is the physical body.
Okay, the body.
Then the interior, which is the mind. And finally, the magisterial, which is the soul or, the guiding, overarching purpose.
That's a helpful framework.
Think of it like a computer system. The exterior is the physical hardware, the interior is the software running the programs, and the magisterial is the actual user who determines what the system is ultimately trying to achieve.
Okay, let me stop you right there and offer a bit of pushback.
Sure, go ahead.
I completely understand the exterior. Waking up on time, controlling your diet, going to the gym. I get how that is discipline.
Right, the physical stuff is obvious.
But how does making your bed or running a mile translate to something as profound as the magisterial soul?
I see where you're going.
Aren't there plenty of professional athletes with incredible elite-level physical discipline who are just completely ethically bankrupt in their personal lives? It seems like a massive leap to say mastering your body makes you a great leader.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, physical discipline is a prerequisite tool, not the moral compass itself.
Oh, I see. It's just a tool.
Exactly. The physical body is just the proving ground. It is the most immediate, tangible reality you have control over.
Right. I mean, if you can't control your own hands.
Right. If you cannot command your own hands, your feet, or what you put into your own mouth, how could you possibly expect to navigate a complex moral crisis or lead an organization through turmoil?
So it is really about building the psychological infrastructure.
Yes. Mastering the physical builds the foundational neural pathways of self-control.
Like practice reps.
Exactly. By forcing yourself to endure small, controlled discomforts, like taking a cold shower, skipping a dessert, or just holding a plank, you're basically giving your willpower a vaccine.
Oh, I love that analogy.
You're building up antibodies against impulsivity.
Yes.
You are proving to yourself that you are capable of keeping a promise.
And once you trust yourself.
Once you establish that baseline of self-trust,
Right.
you have the operational capacity to elevate that control to the interior, which is managing your thoughts, and finally to the magisterial.
That reframes it beautifully. You are building the immune system. And Holiday illustrates this physical phase, the exterior, with the legendary baseball player Lou Gehrig.
Ah, yes, the Iron Horse.
Right.
Gehrig's physical work ethic was almost incomprehensible. I mean, he played 2,130 consecutive games.
That's just insane to even think about.
It is. He played through fractures, severe back spasms, and even the agonizing early stages of ALS.
Wow.
His discipline was pure physical endurance. He just kept showing up every single day and doing the job with absolute consistency, completely, regardless of the pain.
But, for you listening right now, this isn't about playing professional baseball with broken bones.
No, thankfully not.
Right? You don't need to be Lou Gehrig. It is about the micro decisions in your daily life. It is about the moment your alarm goes off and the room is just freezing cold.
The snooze button dilemma.
Yes. The undisciplined mind hits snooze, immediately breaking the very first promise you made to yourself that day.
It sets a terrible tone.
It does. But the disciplined mind recognizes that getting out of bed is a rep. It is a repetition in building that willpower immune system you mentioned.
It is exactly those micro-promises that build the foundation. But Holiday doesn't stop at the physical, because as you pointed out earlier, the hardware is useless without the right software.
Right. We need to upgrade the software.
So he moves to the interior, the mind, and he uses Queen Elizabeth II to illustrate this.
Oh, that's an interesting shift from a baseball player.
Isn't it? Her discipline wasn't about swinging a bat or physical pain. It was about immense, quiet, mental restraint.
Which is a completely different muscle entirely.
Entirely different. I mean, for decades, she faced relentless global scrutiny, severe family scandals, and profound political crises.
Stuff that would break a normal person.
Absolutely. And her discipline was often exercised by simply choosing to remain silent, by not reacting impulsively to provocations.
Just absorbing it.
Yeah, by maintaining a steady, calming presence when the world around her was in total chaos.
I really want to zoom in on the psychology of that, because in today's world where everyone is just instantly reacting, oversharing, and performing their outrage on social media constantly.
It's exhausting.
It is. And that kind of quiet restraint is basically a superpower now.
Oh, it requires an enormous amount of mental fortitude to sit with an uncomfortable emotion like anger or defensiveness and choose not to vent it immediately.
Just sitting with it.
Right. When Queen Elizabeth practiced this, she was utilizing that stoic gap between stimulus and response. She understood that her reaction held power, and freely giving that reaction away to every provocation would just deplete her authority and her inner peace.
And for you listening, the modern application of this is incredibly relevant. It is the discipline of social media restraint.
Very much so.
It is the discipline of dealing with a toxic boss or a difficult client. I mean, it takes so much more mental discipline to absorb a passive-aggressive comment and respond with measured professionalism than it does to just fire back a sarcastic remark.
Because you are actively managing your mental environment.
Exactly. Which leads us to the final and most profound realm of mastery, the magisterial.
The soul.
The soul. The word magisterial comes from magister, meaning master or teacher.
Right.
This is the overarching philosophy that directs the disciplined body and the restrained mind. And Holiday cites figures like Marcus Aurelius, Florence Nightingale, Toni Morrison, and Martin Luther King Jr. to really explain this.
Martin Luther King Jr. is such a powerful example of this.
Yeah.
When we talk about the magisterial, we're talking about aligning your intense discipline with a higher moral purpose.
It's not just discipline for the sake of it.
Exactly. Dr. King's commitment to nonviolence wasn't just physical endurance, though it obviously required that.
Right.
And it wasn't just mental restraint, though it required that too.
Mm.
It was a profound alignment of the soul.
It was a supreme act of magisterial discipline.
Yes, because it is biologically easy to strike back when you are physically attacked or verbally abused.
Yeah.
It takes monumental, almost superhuman control to face hatred, physical danger, and injustice, and firmly hold your ground peacefully without letting that external hatred corrupt your internal values.
Wow. It is tying the discipline to a massive why.
Exactly. The why is everything at this stage.
And the book emphasizes that these extraordinary achievements, whether it is leading a civil rights movement or writing a literary masterpiece like Toni Morrison did while raising children and working a full-time job.
Which is just incredible discipline.
It really is. They aren't the result of one magical, sweeping moment of heroism or inspiration.
No, they are the result of countless, unglamorous, small discipline actions performed over years and decades. It is the principle of persistence over perfection.
Persistence over perfection. I love that. That phrase instantly makes greatness feel accessible.
It takes the pressure off being flawless.
Exactly. You don't have to be flawless today. You just have to be stubbornly persistent in your direction. But applying the lessons of these historical giants to the absolute chaos of modern life is, well, it's the real trick here.
It's the hardest part.
Yeah, we live in an environment engineered by algorithms to break down our self-control, constantly demanding immediate responses and offering instant gratification.
The modern world is basically a constant assault on our temperance. It is literally designed to make us impulsive consumers of information, products, and outrage.
Here's where it gets really interesting, though, because when you ask a high achiever how to apply discipline to modern life, the automatic assumption is that you just need to hustle harder.
Right, the grind set mindset.
Yeah, like you need to wake up at 3 a.m., cram 14 meetings into your schedule, optimize your breakfast shake, and maximize every waking second of the day.
It sounds exhausting just listing it out.
But Holiday presents a deeply counterintuitive takeaway here. Discipline does not always mean doing more.
This raises an important question about our cultural obsession with productivity.
How so?
Well, as a society, we have dangerously equated busyness with importance.
Oh, that is so true.
Right. We feel anxious if we aren't, quote unquote, doing something. But Holiday points out that sometimes the absolute most disciplined thing you can do is to deliberately step back, to slow down, to choose inaction.
Deliberate inaction. I love that concept.
It's powerful.
For you listening who is probably constantly on the go, I want to break down exactly what that looks like. Imagine you're at work and you receive a highly inflammatory, unfair email from a coworker.
We've all been there.
Oh, yeah. The undisciplined reaction, which honestly feels like taking action, is to immediately type out a furious, defensive reply to clear your name.
Your fingers are just flying across the keyboard.
Yes. You hit send, your heart is racing, and you feel like you did something.
But what you actually did was surrender your emotional control entirely to that coworker.
Wow. Yeah.
You let their provocation dictate your behavior.
Exactly. The disciplined approach is deliberate inaction. It is reading the email, feeling the anger, and then physically closing the laptop.
Just walking away.
You tell yourself, I am going to wait 24 hours before I respond. You aren't being lazy. You aren't doing nothing. You are actively, strenuously managing your emotional bandwidth.
You are letting the rational brain take the wheel back from the amygdala.
Exactly.
And deliberate inaction applies to our ambitions as well. It is the discipline to say no to a lucrative new project because it distracts from your core mission.
That's a tough one for high achievers.
Very tough. It is the discipline to turn off your phone and just sit in silence with your own thoughts, which honestly terrifies many high achievers because sitting still forces you to actually face yourself.
It forces you to ask if you are climbing the right mountain rather than just celebrating how fast you're climbing.
That's a great way to put it.
And this brings us to a crucial concept that Holiday weaves throughout the whole book, the internal locus of control.
Yes. An internal locus of control is a psychological term, meaning you believe that you, not outside forces, are responsible for your own success and your own emotional state.
So no pointing fingers.
Right. When you have an external locus, you blame the economy, your boss, or the algorithm for your unhappiness.
It's always someone else's fault.
Always. But when you cultivate discipline, you shift that locus inward. You stop relying on external circumstances to dictate your mood.
Which reveals the central paradox of the whole book, really. We started this conversation noting that people view discipline as a restriction, like a wall that boxes you in and ruins your fun.
Right, the boot camp analogy.
Yeah. But Holiday proves that discipline is actually the ultimate and perhaps the only true source of freedom.
It is a profound paradox. Let's just look at the reality of a lack of discipline for a second.
Okay.
If you lack the discipline to manage your personal finances and you just buy whatever you want on impulse, you aren't free. You eventually become a prisoner to debt.
Absolutely true.
If you lack the discipline to maintain your physical health and eat whatever you want, you eventually become a prisoner to illness, fatigue, and physical limitation.
Yeah.
And if you lack the discipline to focus your attention, you become a prisoner to whatever advertisement or notification flashes on your screen.
You are just a puppet, and your impulses are pulling the strings. But by practicing moderation, by building that willpower immune system and saying no to these short-term urges, you cut the strings.
Exactly.
You retain your agents.
You keep the power. Holiday summarizes the entire philosophy with one incredibly striking thought. Most powerful is he who has himself in his own power.
That is so good.
Right. When you have yourself in your own power, external circumstances lose their leverage over you. You don't need a promotion to feel valuable. You don't need external validation to know you are on the right path.
Most powerful is he who has himself in his own power. That is the kind of quote you write on a Post-it note and stick on your bathroom mirror.
It really is.
It means your power isn't granted by anyone else, and therefore it just cannot be taken away by anyone else. You just need self-mastery.
And through that self-mastery, you learn to embrace failure as a necessary data point for growth.
Right.
You find immense strength in your own restraint. You develop the capacity to pursue your deepest long-term goals with absolute integrity, regardless of how much friction the world throws your way.
Which is inevitably going to happen.
Always. It is a philosophy that challenges our modern craving for the easy way out, reminding us that a life of meaning is built through daily, sometimes highly uncomfortable habits.
So what does this all mean? It means that discipline isn't just a life hack. It isn't a morning routine designed to make you a more efficient corporate drone.
Definitely not.
It is the fundamental baseline for a meaningful, self-directed life. In a modern world that is constantly trying to hijack your attention, manipulate your desires, and drain your energy, Ryan Holiday has provided a survival guide.
A very necessary one.
Yeah. It is a wake-up call to reclaim control over the chaos of your life by starting with the only variable you actually have total jurisdiction over, yourself.
By taking command of the physical hardware, programming the mental software with restraint, and directing it all with a magisterial purpose, we cultivate the perseverance needed to achieve lasting excellence.
We at sharingstoriespodcast bring you insightful book summaries. This content is supported by plotsformovies.com, an AI-enabled book trailer platform where you can watch 1-minute trailers of books to understand them better before you buy them.
Before we wrap up, I want to leave you with a question to consider, based on what we've unpacked today. We've established that true discipline is about intentionality, and often it is about stepping back rather than blindly pushing forward.
Right, deliberate inaction.
Exactly. So what is one short-term impulse or distraction in your life right now that you could practice deliberate inaction toward today? What is one specific thing you can simply choose not to do in order to reclaim a piece of your freedom?
That is a phenomenal challenge for the listener. Pay attention to those micro decisions today. Look at the reins in your hands, realize you aren't the passenger, and decide where you actually want to go. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. Please make sure to subscribe, support the channel, buy the book through the link in the description, and comment with the book you want us to discuss in the next podcast.